You know, I'm speaking to a lot of Christians when I say this, but do you know the law? Do you know the law of the Old Testament? Do you know the new spiritual covenant of the New Testament? Because if we do know the law, if we do know that sexual immorality is sin, if we do know that lying is sin, if we do know that Ephesians 4:29 says that we shouldn't curse and we shouldn't gossip and we shouldn't let any unwholesomeness come out of our mouth, so anything unwholesome is sin, then why do we still live sinning? Now, that is a very easy question to answer. That is because we have all fallen short of the glory of God. We will never match up to the glory of God, and that is why Jesus came down as a perfect sacrifice. But the thing is, if we know that Jesus was the perfect sacrifice and we have true faith that he is the Messiah and that he saved us from our sins and that now death has no sting since he saved us, then why do we continue to go against Jesus and live by sin? So Romans 3:20 basically runs down that no flesh will be justified under the law if you are under the grace of Jesus. But if you're not under the grace of Jesus, if you're educated by the law, if you know what the law says, if you know about sin, if you know what the Ten Commandments say, which leads to love your neighbor as yourself, and you don't love your neighbor as yourself, and you know of this stuff, and you choose to not put your faith in Jesus and still know this law, you will be justified to the fullest extent of the laws. It's like court in the U.S. Jesus is the defender, and he gets the court case dropped because he, with the blood, he defends you in front of the Father, and now you're no longer guilty of your sin, but he took it on the cross with him. So we're called to carry up our cross every day. But if you live knowing the law and you don't want to surrender to Jesus, which fulfills the law, so that we are no longer under the law, which is controlled by sin, and you are now under Jesus, then you will be justified and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And that prosecution by God is wrathful, because God's wrath will be given against you because you are not covered by his Son. You're not set free by his Son. So what are you waiting for? Surrender it to Jesus. Surrender your ambitions to Jesus. Surrender your life to Jesus, so that the Son may set you free and you will not be prosecuted by the Father for all of your evil doings anymore. And Romans chapter 10 makes it very clear that whoever believes in their heart that Jesus is Lord, and whoever confesses with their tongue that Jesus is Lord, and calls on the name of the Lord, they will be saved. So do you believe in your heart that Jesus is Lord? Have you prayed to God to turn away from your old sinful evil ways and never look back and pursue the cross and say goodbye to yesterday? Or are you still living in sin when you can surrender your life and you can surrender it to Jesus right now and be saved for eternity? You got to make that choice.